India, a land of vibrant colours, boasts a rich tapestry of religions. Hinduism, Islam, Sikhism, Christianity, Buddhism, all have flourished here for centuries. From ancient temples to towering mosques, from serene gurudwaras to peaceful churches, its landscape reflects its pluralistic ethos. The echoes of prayers, chants and hymns resonate through its history, a testament to its multifaceted spiritual heritage. India's festivals, a kaleidoscope of colours and traditions, celebrate this diversity, bringing people together in shared joy and celebration. India's tryst with religious politics is not new. From Ashoka's conversion to Buddhism to the Mughal era's complex relationship with Hinduism, religion has often intertwined with power. The scars of partition, a stark reminder of the perils of religious extremism, are etched deep within India's collective memory. Even after independence, the ghosts of communal violence have continued to haunt India. This brings us to a crucial question. Can religion and politics coexist peacefully in India? Can a nation born from the ideals of secularism reconcile its pluralistic ethos with the rising tide of religious nationalism? We will explore how political parties, driven by electoral ambitions, often exploit religious identities for votes. This cynical manipulation of faith has far-reaching consequences, impacting social harmony and national unity. India's founding fathers envisioned a nation where people of all faiths could live together in harmony. They dreamt of a society free from religious discrimination, a place where every citizen would have the right to practice, profess, and propagate their religion without fear. This vision was enshrined in India's constitution, a document that declared India a secular republic. Given its diverse social fabric, any attempt to privilege one religion over others was bound to lead to conflict and chaos. Secularism, therefore, became a cornerstone of the idea of India, a principle as fundamental as democracy and social justice. The Constitution, India's sacred text of democracy, laid out the framework for this secular republic.
Over the years, the idea of India as a secular republic has come under increasing strain. The rise of religious nationalism, with its emphasis on a singular majoritarian identity, poses a direct challenge to the pluralistic ethos enshrined in India's constitution. This ideology, often cloaked in the garb of cultural pride and patriotism, seeks to redefine Indian identity based on religion, excluding and marginalizing minorities in the process. India has witnessed a surge in hate speech, targeted violence against minorities, and attempts to rewrite history to suit a particular narrative. Laws and policies are being enacted that discriminate against minorities, eroding the very foundations of its secular democracy.
In the face of these challenges, the Indian judiciary has emerged as a crucial custodian of India's secular values. The courts have consistently upheld the principles of religious freedom, equality, and non-discrimination, often acting as a bulwark against majoritarian impulses. From landmark judgments on minority rights to rulings against hate speech and religious discrimination, the judiciary has played a vital role in safeguarding the secular fabric of the nation. However, the courts can only interpret the law, they cannot enforce it. The responsibility for protecting and promoting secularism ultimately lies with the government and, more importantly, with the people of India. Its citizens must remain vigilant against attempts to divide us along religious lines. The future of India as a secular democracy depends on our collective commitment to these ideals. India in recent decades has witnessed a worrying trend, the rise of religious nationalism. This ideology, often intertwined with political opportunism, seeks to redefine what it means to be Indian. It promotes a singular, monolithic identity based on religion, sidelining India's rich tapestry of faiths and cultures. The proponents of this ideology present a vision of India as a Hindu nation, a land where Hinduism is not just a religion but the defining characteristic of national identity. This vision, however, stands in stark contrast to the inclusive, pluralistic India envisioned by our founding fathers. The rise of religious nationalism is not an isolated phenomenon. It mirrors similar trends across the globe. In India, this ideology has found fertile ground in a climate of social polarization, economic disparities, and a weakening of secular institutions. The rise of religious nationalism has ushered in a new era of majoritarianism in India. This ideology, with its emphasis on the dominance of the majority religious community, undermines the very foundations of our secular democracy. It creates a hierarchy of citizenship where minorities are often seen as suspect citizens, their loyalty to the nation questioned, their patriotism doubted. This majoritarian mindset manifests in various ways. In discriminatory laws and policies, in hate speech and violence against minorities, in attempts to rewrite history to suit a particular narrative. The voices of dissent are silenced, and those who dare to speak out against this ideology are branded as anti-national or traitors. This climate of fear and intimidation has a chilling effect on free speech and expression, essential pillars of any democracy. Religious nationalism thrives on the politics of fear and resentment. It exploits existing social divisions, amplifies insecurities, and creates an atmosphere of distrust and suspicion between communities. It paints a picture of a nation under threat where the majority is portrayed as being under siege from outsiders, minorities, intellectuals, liberals, anyone who questions the dominant narrative. This rhetoric of fear is often accompanied by a distorted interpretation of history, one that glorifies a mythical past while demonizing those perceived as different. The politics of fear and resentment have real-world consequences. One of the most worrying aspects of the rise of religious nationalism is its impact on India's secular institutions. These institutions, designed to uphold the principles of equality, justice, and non-discrimination, are coming under increasing pressure to conform to the dominant ideology. The judiciary, once considered a bulwark against majoritarianism, is facing challenges to its independence. Educational institutions, once spaces for critical thinking and debate, are witnessing attempts to saffronize the curriculum and promote a particular ideological agenda. This erosion of secular institutions poses a grave threat to the future of Indian democracy. Indian politics is a complex dance between ideology, pragmatism, and power. Religion often plays a seductive, if dangerous, role. Parties use religious identities to mobilize support and consolidate vote banks. This manipulation of faith has far-reaching consequences for India's secular democracy. Identity politics taps into deep-seated emotions and loyalties. It fosters solidarity and belonging among target audiences, but it undermines the foundations of a pluralistic society. The Indian National Congress, the grand old party of Indian politics, has had a long and complicated relationship with religion. Born out of the struggle for independence, a movement that witnessed remarkable Hindu-Muslim unity, the Congress initially championed a secular ethos, envisioning an India where all religions would coexist peacefully and enjoy equal rights and protection. However, the partition's trauma, the rise of communal tensions, and the exigencies of electoral politics gradually led the Congress to adopt a more ambiguous stance. While maintaining its commitment to secularism in principle, the party often engaged in what critics call appeasement politics, accused of making concessions to religious minorities to secure their votes. This balancing act, this tightrope walk between upholding secular ideals and navigating the realities of electoral politics, has been a defining feature of the Congress's approach to religion. The Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP), rooted in the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh (RSS), has committed to Hindutva. This ideology defines Indian identity through Hindu culture and values, central to BJP's discourse and strategy. The BJP's rise in the 90s coincided with a surge in Hindu nationalism, driven by economic anxieties and historical grievances. While the Congress and the BJP have dominated national politics, regional parties have also played a significant role in shaping the discourse on religion and identity. Often representing specific linguistic, ethnic, or caste groups, these parties have often adopted pragmatic approaches to religion, aligning themselves with different religious communities depending on the prevailing political winds in their respective states. Some regional parties have emerged as staunch defenders of secularism, positioning themselves as alternatives to both the Congress's perceived appeasement politics and the BJP's Hindu nationalist agenda. These parties have often drawn support from minorities who feel threatened by the rise of majoritarianism. The rise of regional parties has added another layer of complexity to the already intricate tapestry of Indian politics. The use of religion in Indian politics has cast a long shadow on Indian society. What was once a vibrant tapestry of faiths coexisting peacefully for centuries has become increasingly frayed, the threads of unity strained by the divisive rhetoric of identity politics. The pursuit of power through religious mobilization has come at a heavy cost, eroding the very foundations of social cohesion that have long been India's strength. The most visible consequence of this trend has been the rise of communal tensions and violence. Incidents that were once sporadic and localized have become more frequent and widespread, engulfing entire communities in a vortex of fear and suspicion. The social fabric, once woven tightly with threads of shared values and traditions, has become increasingly fragmented, with communities retreating into their enclaves, suspicious of those different from them. Beyond the immediate violence and unrest, the use of religion for political ends has fostered a more insidious threat, the rise of intolerance. Hate speech has seeped into mainstream discourse, poisoning public spaces with bigotry and prejudice. Social media has become a fertile ground for spreading disinformation and inciting hatred against minorities. This climate of fear and intimidation has a chilling effect on free speech and academic freedom. Despite the challenges, the story of religion in India is not without hope. Amidst the darkness of division and conflict, there are glimmers of light, shining examples of interfaith, harmony, and social cohesion that offer a path forward. Across the country, individuals and organizations are working tirelessly to bridge divides, promote understanding, and build bridges between communities. Interfaith dialogues, cultural exchanges, and joint initiatives for social justice are helping to break down stereotypes, foster empathy, and build trust. These grassroots efforts, often undertaken quietly and without fanfare, represent the true spirit of India, a spirit of unity and diversity, of compassion and empathy that transcends differences of faith, caste, or creed. India stands at a crossroads, grappling with the complex interplay of religion and politics. The Founding Fathers chose secularism, enshrining it in the Constitution. They envisioned an India where all faiths could live together in harmony. However, decades have seen a tug-of-war between secularism and religious nationalism. Identity politics and communal tensions cast a shadow on India's social fabric. The path ahead for India lies in reclaiming the true spirit of its secularism, respecting and protecting all faiths. Move beyond divisive rhetoric and focus on development, social justice, and unity. Political parties must refrain from exploiting religious sentiments. The cynical use of religion to divide communities must end. Promote interfaith dialogue and harmony. Education fosters a culture of tolerance and respect. India's journey towards a secular society will be long and arduous. The future hinges on living up to the ideals of its constitution. Let us know what you think India's religious landscape would look like in future in the comments section down below. If you liked the video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Your love and support means a lot to us. Thank you, and see you again next week.